Hey brothers, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about the two types of denial that exist while you're rebooting. I'm JK Mazy. I'm the founder of Elevated Recovery and head coach at Porn Reboot Coaching Systems. This is part of our series on relapse prevention reboots. Today I'm talking about denial and the two types because one of them, a lot of brothers are just not aware that it exists. Let's talk about the one that you are probably aware exists, and that is the denial that you experience pre-reboot when you have not admitted that pornography or a certain sexual behavior is compulsive, that it's a problem, that despite your best attempts to stop, it still causes negative outcomes in your life, to your relationship, to your ability to be intimate, to your focus, to your emotional health, and so on. Despite all this evidence, you still don't think it's a problem. And even if you do, you've minimized or rationalized it. So you think you can use willpower and deal with it. You think that it's something that might go away on its own. You think that by getting married or getting in a relationship or making more money or one thing or the other, the problem will magically resolve itself. That's the first type of denial that we are very familiar with, right? And sometimes, if you're curious, it's sometimes just a result of societal conditioning, cultural conditioning, things like men believing that seeking help is being needy. So it's masculine to not seek help, and we can handle these things on our own, and various things like that. I address this in many of my podcasts and videos. But today, the one I really want to focus on briefly is the second type of denial. And the interesting thing about this is that it occurs during your reboots. It occurs due to two things, and I've noticed this over the years. The first is stress. And this comes up a lot within the Porn Reboot program because we specifically work with highly ambitious men. And ambitious men who have a lot going on for them usually find it challenging to come to terms with living their lifestyles as they are and making adjustments in order to reboot. Adjustments could be in terms of their environments, both online and physical. It could be in terms of the way they manage their energy. And sometimes it has to do with some of the beliefs that they have about intimacy, about work, about pornography, changing values, and so on. So stress comes up as a result, and this can trigger denial because it is easier to minimize your problem or pretend that you do not have a problem than it is to deal with stress because you view this stress as unwanted. Remember, sometimes when you join this program, your expectation is that I should experience reduced stress as a result of rebooting. But when you start experiencing what seems like more stress, then it becomes challenging and you're just like, man, I don't want to deal with this. So denial becomes the next step. The important thing to realize is that this is largely unconscious, right? The earlier denial that occurs in your pre-reboots is often conscious, but denial that is activated during your reboots, you are, for the most part, completely unaware of it. And most brothers are surprised when months later they're like, whoa, I can't believe, how do I keep doing this? How is it that I'll enter some program or the other to seek help? And then suddenly I'll just step away from it. And it seems as if I only awaken weeks or months later. Well, it's often as a result of that denial. So like I said, that's triggered firstly by stress, but it's also triggered by anxiety in some cases. And this is actually what I see more often than stress. With anxiety, I'll define anxiety as a response to an uncertain but significant change in your life. And that response could be one of unease, one of fear. Sometimes it could be distressing, and sometimes the fear could be so deep that we could even classify that reaction as dread, a deep dread. But where does that actually come from? Well, over the years, most men, and I'm generalizing here, have been using their behavior with pornography to medicate strong emotions that you did not have appropriate coping strategies for. So pain, fear, rejection, uncertainty, and so on. pornography became the thing that you ran to. But each time you used pornography and you did not process these emotions, then you kind of repressed it, you pushed it down. And when you are now part of a program where pornography is going to be removed, although it's going to be replaced with healthy coping strategies and the right lifestyle, there is this fear of the space that will remain when you remove pornography. And the truth is that when pornography is removed, or in the process of removing it, you are going to come face to face with these old, unaddressed emotions that have been suppressed and repressed for years. And the dread that comes with it is often as a result of the anticipation of just dealing with it. So again, all of this is also happening unconsciously. In fact, in order to help you become more comfortable with your unconscious mind, we have something that we call your addict subpersonality. And we've personified this because it just makes it easier to have conversations with your unconscious and bring more of the things that reside into your unconscious to your conscious mind during rebooting. So this addict subpersonality has been there to protect you. It's not some malicious being. It's not some malicious part of your unconscious. It's just there to protect you from pain. It's there to make sure that your nervous system is not overwhelmed and you don't fall apart. Unfortunately, in the process of doing that, you developed a compulsive behavior. It just thought orgasms were good for you, man. It just thought that, hey, you enjoy this porn thing, and when you were 14, it made you feel better about being rejected by Becky from school. So, dude, I'll just keep doing this thing for you. But now it's no longer sustainable. And so the dread actually comes from your unconscious mind. The point of all of this, gentlemen, without going too deep into that, is that denial is activated by your unconscious mind when it feels, your addict subpersonality feels that it cannot handle the stress and the anxiety that comes up as a result of the reboot process. So what I want to say to those of you, whether you're in our program or not, is that if you started this process and you mysteriously find yourself backing away from it, you suddenly find yourself saying things like, you know what, the progress I've made thus far is pretty good. It's great. Like, I have great morning routines. I've done some great self-improvement stuff. And I feel like I've gotten some solid things from this program. I think I'm just gonna hit pause for now and maybe deal with this later. That is oftentimes denial being activated because of something that your unconscious mind perceives as a significant change coming up. And this is why, unfortunately, there are a lot of brothers who view the entire recovery process, that's if they're using a different system, and view the reboot system as some sort of self-improvement thing. A lot of brothers will join thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to get these great habits. But habits are not enough to change a compulsive behavior that has been with you for many, many years, right? This isn't just habit change. It is habit change. It is lifestyle change. And there is also a change to your self-image that's going to occur. So unfortunately, some brothers end up feeling that, you know what, my life improved, but my behavior with pornography didn't. I want you to ask yourself, is it possible that you didn't let your behavior with pornography change because you always kept running away from the reality of your situation? It's not an easy thing to admit, but it's something that I encourage you to identify in your life, because at the end of the day, when we talk about rebooting, we quite literally mean rewiring your brain to the point that you're no longer dependent on your sexual behavior to feel better about any situation in your life. You should be at a point where you do not need pornography in your life. It is not compulsive, right? So I hope you found that helpful, the two different types of denial and where they stem from. I'd love to hear your comments, what you have to say about this in the comment section, for those of you who are already in the program. And for those of you who aren't, if you found this interesting and you want to talk to someone about your situation or get more clarity, I'm not the only guy with the knowledge. We have our reboot strategists who are also fully rebooted brothers. You can just use the link in this post to schedule a call with them and chat with them about where you're at and find out if you're a good fit for our program. With that being said, I really appreciate the time you spent watching this video. I'm JK Amazy, your brother in the struggle, and I'll speak to you later on in the week. Take care.